Hey, we're back in the final video for week 2 on orchestration in the Data Talks Club Data Engineering Zoomcamp, and you've done it. You've, from start to finish, learned how to use Mage, learned what orchestration was, and how to implement your own ETL pipelines using Mage, then schedule those pipelines to run on a cadence. You've also completed the homework, which was building a pipeline from scratch, and you've learned how to load compressed data from a CSV, transform it, and write it to a data set using Mage, and build in some engineering best practices like code reusage and assertions into your data pipelines. So that's no small feat. Definitely congratulate yourself, celebrate a little bit, get ready for the next part of the Zoom camp. But here are some additional resources in case you're stuck, in case you want to learn more about Mage. So first, we have some pretty great documentation. There are some, admittedly, some gaps or particularly confusing components, but we're working to update that every single day. So if you find something in the documentation you'd like improved, reach out to us on Slack, or the documentation is open source with the rest of our code, so you can contribute yourself, make improvements, add guides, add sections. We'd love to see you help us improve our documentation. Additionally, we have a Slack where you can go and interact with the rest of the community. At this point, we're over 4,000 strong. Definitely jump in there. I'll be on there. You can chat with me, chat with the rest of the community. We'd love to see you jump in on the conversation. And we'd also love to help you with your pipelines and your projects. Some other next steps, maybe from a data engineering perspective, or rather a Mage perspective. These are some more advanced concepts you can explore on your own, but won't be covered in the course. So first is deployment. If you want to host your pipeline somewhere, have them run on a server on a scheduled cadence so that they're not running locally on your machine, that's a super interesting thing to jump into. We have some Terraform scripts that can help you do this simply and easily. You can check those out, or you can explore things like Google Cloud Run, which makes deployment very simple for tools like Mage. Second, pipelines. So we only talked about batch pipelines in this course, but Mage has some really other interesting pipeline types like streaming and data integration that might be interesting to explore for your other projects or even in a production setting. Highly recommend checking both of those concepts out in our documentation. Alerting is another really great functionality that Mage has. So you can hook up Slack, use Mage to send alerts on pipeline failures or alert your team about other statuses of your DAGs. And lastly, triggers and scheduling. We talked about some very simple scheduling. You went through that exercise in the assignment, but there's a bunch of scheduling functionality in Mage that might be interesting to play with as well. Lastly, I have some just general advice about data engineering because you're all here because you love data engineering, right? So here are some ways you can continue to grow as a data engineer, continue to learn and go through best practices. So first, this is Zoomcamp. Excellent resource. Alexi does great work. I definitely recommend seeing it to completion and continuing to grow that way. Second, everybody learns in different ways, right? Personally, I love working on portfolio projects because they really help me understand what I'm working on, and it gives me something cool to go show people my passions, show people what I'm curious about. So I highly recommend exploring different personal projects that you can do to show your passion and show what you enjoy doing, and also to have fun, because this whole thing should be fun, right? So yeah, if you're interested in personal project ideas, reach out. I'd be happy to share some of my own ideas or some things I've seen others do. Online resources and text. If you want to learn, books are a really great place to start, but there's also a ton of great knowledge out there on forums like Reddit, in Slack communities like the Data Talks Club Slack, but there are a bunch of others out there if you look around a bit, or the Mage Slack. Yeah, I'd say read. It's not too hard to find the most popular books on data engineering, so check those out. And lastly, engaging with the data engineering community. I think this is one I only started doing recently, but that is really powerful. You learn so much and you meet so many great people that can help you understand the way that data engineering works, the way that data works, and it allows you really to give back as well, right? Because as you learn, as you grow, there are always going to be people that are in a similar position to where you were, and you can help them grow as well, which I find incredibly rewarding. And that might look like attending meetups, attending conferences, just posting on LinkedIn and making connections and being friendly and being helpful, and writing blog posts and taking those personal projects that you worked on and sharing them with people, or taking those books that you read and summarizing them and sharing your thoughts. These are all super valuable things that I think many overlook. So I would definitely recommend giving those a shot, engaging with the community and seeing what comes back, because You can create all the cool stuff you want. If it's in a vacuum and nobody knows about it, it's not as fun as if you're engaging with other people and sharing your passions, which is something I found incredibly rewarding. So I hope you find it that way too. But from myself and the rest of the Mage team, this has been week 2 on workflow orchestration. We're all incredibly grateful that we had this opportunity to share our product with you, and we sincerely would enjoy your feedback and your thoughts on the tool. So thank you again. It's been really fun, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.